Hi, in this video we'll be looking at a Figma file I built where I use Figma as a design tool for a Licorice brand, where we take input such as the taste color variant and then use that color to affect both the content of the Licorice container and the label colors, and also use it to output poster files and SoMe content. My idea was to use Figma in a way to build like this design tool. When this brand get a new taste variant on the market, they simply just change a few global variants and it will affect all of it. When I say I have used Figma to create a design tool, it is inspired by the work of Rune Madsen, who have the company Design Systems International. I heard a talk with him a few years back at Copenhagen Institute of Interaction Design, where he talked about delivering design tools, and I think it's a really interesting aspect to bring to design, because it makes design more accessible, because you give a tool to the clients that is much easier to use than try to follow brand guides. So this is the Figma file, and I'll just go through it real quick and then go deeper into each part afterwards. So up here we have the thumbnail, and then I'll put in a link for this YouTube video, and here I explain the case followed by what I'm trying to achieve using this design tool. Then I have this section, which is the design tool or the editor, where the potential user would interact with the different components. Down here is what I have called the backend, where all of the input from the editor goes and generate the base components for our output files. And up here we have the output files. And then in addition we go into looking how to use it as a mockup tool as well. So let's jump to the beginning. As case inspiration, I used the Danish brand Lakrids by Bulow. I chose them because they have this simple packaging design, which mainly consists of text and a solid color. And in this case, this solid color reflects the color of the licorice. And I think that was a great benefit for me to work with compared to something that used custom illustrations. My goal with this design tool is to give a tool to a client, in this case this fictional Licorice brand, and this tool should be able to output a label file and product shots of a big can and a small can and the liquid itself, and then a social media / poster image where the product is set in a scene. Here we have the Figma design tool and the editor that the end user would be using. So they can go in and change the color, and they can change this letter / logo on the label file, and then they can go and change the name of the new taste variant, and in info they can describe it, and then there is some story about the company and some nutritional value. If you then follow this purple line, you can see where all of these components is used. Down here in what I have named the backend, you can see how it's set up in Figma, where we use the taste color to create these liquid shots, and then we stack them over here, and these are fed into the our product shots. And all of this is done in Figma with vectors. I would probably recommend to do some rendering and some smart things, but for fun I did it all in Figma. And here you can see it goes down here and is being used in a scene as well. And then all of this goes up to output files. In output files we can see that we have covered our goals with creating like a print file for the label, and we have created the product shots for our web store, the big one and the small, and then the Licorice itself. And then we have the poster where you can see the product in a scene, and some social media, which is similar to the poster, just in different formats. So a 1x1 for Instagram and a high one for stories. And here we also received some text. But now for the fun part, because right now I've just made like a lot of illustrations and set it up with components. The fun thing is now when we go back to our editor and say, let's make a new variant. It's not passion fruit anymore. Now it's summer taste. Well, what? Then of course this P is not a P anymore. Then it should be S for summer. And what type of color do summer have? Maybe we have like a warm kind of yellow, orange. Maybe a bit more. Something like this. That's quite summery. And now you can see we have changed these 3 values. We have changed the logo and the summer taste and this color. And if we go over here, we can now see all of our output files is updated. So now we have our label file, and we have our product shots, and we have our poster and so me. And over here you can also see that this is linked up. After I made the poster shots, I really wanted to make a mock-up using a bus stop, and I went on Unsplash and I found this one that I really liked because it had like this white image that would allow me to have the reflection of the car in my final image. And as you can see down here, I did succeed in getting my image on and get the reflection. However, I had to use a plugin called Angle Mockups, and it broke the live link, so this image now it no longer receives the new taste color. And I think that was a bit of a shame. So therefore I went back and I tried to build a new one using another image of this guy sitting in the night, because it had a direct shot at the poster. And it was also quite fun to mask out the guy and then build the reflections on the ground. The ground reflections are a bit tricky to do in Figma. There you need to do a solid color and then use a gradient as a mask in order to have this gradient receive the taste color. Thanks for watching. I think before we sign off, let's end on a quote from this book, Flexible Visual Systems by Martin Lawrence. He writes, "Do it wrong. Experiment with using the wrong programs and don't operate them the way they are supposed to be operated. Programs should always be tools of the designer, not the other way around." And with that, please feel free to share the work you have used Figma for, which is beyond normal Figma use. I would love to see it. Bye.